The good old two-plate barbell bench press. The one thing mocking high school gym bros everywhere more than high school gym bros themselves. Luckily for you, what you're about to learn in this video will finally put your two-plate bench struggles firmly behind you. Yes, the two-plate 225-pound bench press is a beauty and one of the very first gym milestones for many gym bros and broettes. However, the time it takes to reach this milestone can vary greatly from one person to the next. But why is that? Well, I don't mean to turn your world upside down, but believe it or not, we humans all come in different shapes and sizes. And whatever combination of shapes and size we individually are will greatly influence the time in which we can achieve the two-plate bench press. For some people with favorable limb proportions and above average size, bench pressing two plates really is just a matter of a few months of serious training. I myself personally have limb proportions advantageous for press movements that did allow me to get to two plates fairly quickly during my acne-infested years. For others, like a few of my friends, it took them a lot longer, and yes, just like me trying to sound cool and hip in my Discord server, some may never achieve this goal at all. So really, as aesthetically pleasing as putting two plates on each side of the barbell might be, in my opinion, this arbitrary 225-pound standard for strength makes as much sense as people genuinely enjoying the taste of raw KO, which makes no sense at all. Still, I get it. A bro's got a bro, and not making a lot of sense is kind of what a bro's gotta do. But before you get too invested and turn your entire garage into a home gym / future most expensive clothes hanger, there are things you can do just at your local gym that can help you finally bench that 225 pounds. With that in mind, let's talk about it. Unsurprisingly, the biggest factor in this equation is your actual training. And within your training, we have two main factors to explore: the actual lifting itself and also your training program. And these two will be the primary focus of this video. Let's break down programming first. The one thing that takes precedent here is the basic tenet of training specificity. In other words, as science has thoroughly shown and supported, in order to lift heavy, we gotta train heavy. Now, the best case is that you follow a well-reputed strength-based program to take a lot of the guessing out of your hands, but generally, a good strength-based program will include training the primary lifts for about 2 to 3 times a week, focusing on lower rep ranges of 1 to 5 reps per set, and employing a fairly heavy load of about 80% or more of your 1 rep max. That means our primary pressing movements, like the barbell bench press, but also things like angled and overhead presses, will have this type of programming format to ensure strength progression. Speaking of progression, a good strength program should also have a clear mode of progression, whether that's periodically increasing the load or weights you're lifting, or routinely adjusting other factors like your reps and sets while maintaining a high load intensity. In short, your program should have you pushing a lot of heavy stuff if you want to get to your two-plate bench press. Not too big of a surprise here, this is the gold standard for developing strength, and we really don't need any tricky programming schemes added on. It's a classic case of if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it, twist it, or bop it. Even then, there's still some wiggle room with rep ranges, volume, and intensities that you can still kind of tweak in a way that suits you best. As long as it respects the principle of lifting heavy, you should be good to go. Now for the more interesting side of the training coin, the lifting itself. When it comes to lifting, the first thing we usually think about is if anyone is staring at us when we do it, and also about our technique. Now, unfortunately, this isn't a technique channel, unless you think some dude drawing cartoon animations with very sus anatomical proportions is a good way to learn technique, then let me know in the comments so I can judge you over the internet. But yes, admittedly, I'm not a great source for showing the intricacies of different technique styles, even though I do feel confident with my understanding of technique, but to speak on it vaguely, we first have to remember that we do all come in different shapes and sizes, which means there is no one technique that suits everybody. Sure, some universal considerations do exist, like stacking the hands, arms, and elbows together under the bar, but most facets of technique will vary from person to person. One facet that varies often is how wide we grip the bar. Some benefit from a narrower grip, and some benefit from a wider grip. And no, a wider grip is not cheating, and anyone claiming you're cheating probably probably benefits from a narrower grip, which is usually some stocky little dude with short-ass arms. I would know because that was me. You can also tinker with things like the gripping technique itself, your upper body placement, your back arch, and even your feet placement. Test things around and find what technique and form works best for you to lift the most effectively. You really don't have to confine yourself to some sort of limit or restrictions. Well, unless of course you want to do something like compete in powerlifting one day. But you keep hurting yourself doing way too heavy lifts, and instead of taking a break, you ignore the pain and keep lifting anyway until you make your back injury so much worse that you can't even compete till next year, and that's if you're lucky. And now you're stuck at home recording these stupid, but very helpful, voiceovers while you're in a bunch of pain. But yeah, test out different techniques, even ones you don't intend to use as your primary technique. You'll never know which can really help you drive your bench numbers up. Other than technique, there are more lifting tools and strategies that can help. Usually, people tend to run into sticking points in their bench presses, points where they tend to fail their lift the most. You can attempt to target these points or ranges of motion specifically with things like block presses, which can target points closer to lockout, or pause reps, which can help you focus on training points at the bottom of the press. And since block presses reduce your range of motion, it can also allow you to actually lift with weights heavier than your current 1-rep max. This is great for developing neuromuscular adaptations and train your body to get used to heavier weights, which can translate to a higher full range 1-rep max. Another thing you can do is identify specific muscles that may be weak points. Now, this is more of a programming thing, but does require you to identify these muscles first through your lifting experiences. Essentially, you want to find the muscle that might be the bottleneck in your bench press progression. Like, for example, it might be your triceps, which then you program in additional strength-based tricep workouts to further develop that muscle. Now, these additional bench strategies can be useful, but honestly, most people can reach a 2-plate bench press with just good old heavy lifting, improving their benching technique, and leaving nice comments on Picturefit videos, but the tools are there if you want to use them. And finally, I want to share with you all one more thing that personally made all the difference in the world for my own strength progression, and that is using machines. That's right, those same machines filled with old people sweat and side eyes from all the barbell-loving gym bros. Sure, machines aren't as sexy as our free-living barbells, but they do provide something very special, and that is control. Unlike using free weights where you yourself have to maintain full and complete stability throughout the movement, machines take some of that stability out of our hands, literally, which ultimately allows us to focus on just driving the necessary muscles as hard as we can. Most press machines also start us off at the bottom of the press, whereas a barbell bench press starts us off at the top of the press. This can allow us to focus specifically on the concentric or raising portion of the lift first, rather than worrying about lowering the weight and then pressing. It might not seem like a big deal, but if it does allow us to work with heavier weights even for a 1-rep set, it might drive that neuromuscular adaptation that translates to a better bench. Now, to be fair, you can also achieve this with a barbell bench press by using safeties. Well, that's if you're lucky that your gym actually have flat bench safeties installed, which in my experience is very unlikely. Machines are also very convenient. Barely any bros use them at my gym. You don't need to have a spotter, and adjusting the weights, although not as cool as racking fat-ass plates on a bar, is super quick and easy. And unlike AI machines, lifting machines aren't going to try to destroy you a few years from now, at least not intentionally. And for those worried about this, as long as you're not replacing all your free weight work with machines, you should be fine in terms of developing the smaller, stabilizing muscles required in a barbell bench press. Again, for me, adding more machine work was the biggest game changer. Huge thumbs up or triangles up on my end. And with that, all the big stuff should be covered. Everything else kind of falls into common sense territory. Get enough sleep, maintain good healthy habits, both mental and physical. Nutrition-wise, definitely avoid cutting unless you absolutely have to. Ideally, a slight bulk with sufficient protein, about 1.6 grams per kilogram body weight per day, is where you want to be. Other than that, you're good to go. Happy benching, throw out your KO, and once you do hit that 2-plate bench, you can finally graduate to a more serious lifting gym where even bigger and stronger bros can then mock you for not benching 3 plates. The beautiful bro circle of life. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a strong thumbs up and share it with your bench-loving friends. Subscribe for more and let me know what you think in the comments. As always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to get your protein.